Your Excellency, King Mohammed VI, King of Morocco, God protect him. Your Excellency, Mr. Omar Kabaj, the advisor to the King, thank you for the message of His Majesty, representing His Majesty Mohammed VI, the King of Morocco, and of course, President Emeritus of the African Development Bank, and in that capacity, please help me give him an applause. Your Excellency, Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of Comoros and the Chairperson of the African Union. Your Excellency, my dear sister, Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of United Republic of Tanzania. Yeah, we need more women president, right? So. Your Excellency, Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Your Excellency, Mia Amon Motley, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Barbados. Your Excellency, Edward Ingerente, Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda. And of course, today I got a great surprise. His Excellency Baba Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he showed up. You know, he's my father, so he figured his son is having an event, so he just showed up without telling me. Baba, welcome, sir. Your Excellency Nadia Fattah Aloui, Minister of Economy and Finance of the Kingdom of Morocco, honorable ministers and the partner institutions, Professor Benedict Rama, President of the Africa Export-Import Bank, Samaila Subairu, President of the Africa Finance Corporation, Alain Nebobise, Chief Executive Officer of Africa 50, Utumelo Mosako, Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank of Southern Africa, Wena Hoyer, President of the European Investment Bank, Dr. Mohamed Sulaiman Al-Jazar, President of Islamic Development Bank, Saad Masu Tadese, President Emeritus and Managing Director, Trade and Development Bank, business leaders and investors from around the world, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my dearest and lovely wife, Grace. Good to be here, honey. President Obasanjo actually has an allocative decision. He decided that 60% of my success was due to Grace and 40% to myself. And then I went to see one president recently, he said 90% to Grace and 10% to you. A hearty good morning to you all and grace to you all. On behalf of the founding partners of the African Investment Forum, the African Development Bank, the Africa Export-Import Bank, Africa Finance Corporation, Africa 50, Development Bank of Southern Africa, European Investment Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and the Trade and Development Bank, I am delighted to extend a very warm welcome to you as we gather for this 2023 Africa Investment Forum Market Days. I will now shift a little bit into French. En tant que partenaire, nous tenons à exprimer notre immense gratitude à Sa Majesté Mohammed VI, roi du Maroc, pour avoir accepté de nous accueillir et pour avoir si gracieusement placé ces journées de transaction de l'Africa Investment Forum sous son patronage royal. Nous remercions le gouvernement et le peuple du Royaume du Maroc pour leur accueil chaleureux et leur hospitalité. Nous voudrons présenter à Sa Majesté, au gouvernement et au peuple du Royaume du Maroc, nos sincères condoléances et exprimer notre compassion pour le tremblement de terre dévastateur que vous avez connu il y a exactement 2 mois à ce jour. Avec près de 3000 vies perdues et des milliers de personnes blessées. Cette tragédie inattendue a apporté détresse et difficultés et d'innombrables familles qui sont perdues leurs proches. Je prie qu'on fait une minute de silence. Que les âmes de défunts reposent en paix. Que Dieu réconforte leurs familles. Le peuple marocain est résilient. Vous venez d'accueillir les assemblées annuelles de la Banque mondiale et du Fonds monétaire international il y a quelques semaines, ici même à Marrakech. Et nous voilà. Vous nous accueillez dans le cadre de l'Africa Investment Forum. Quel courage, quelle résilience, quelle ténacité. Merci beaucoup. Je voudrais saisir cette occasion pour assurer le gouvernement du Royaume du Maroc de notre soutien collectif permanent aux efforts de relance. La Banque africaine de développement prévoit de financer à hauteur de 782 millions d'euros différents projets au Maroc en 2023. We are especially delighted and greatly honored by the presence with us of your excellencies, heads of state and government. Your presence sends a powerful signal that Africa is the prime investment destination, that political will, commitment, leadership, and determination are there across Africa to provide wind behind the sails of investments. The presence of my dear sister Prime Minister of Barbados shows that Africa's development and that of the Caribbean are linked. We are linked by history, heritage, and blood. Africa and the Caribbean will rise together as we drive to ensure that we take our rightful place in the world in terms of unlocking the potential of our nations. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, for honoring our invitation and for being here personally. The presence of heads of multilateral and regional financial institutions, chief executive officers, and business leaders, project developers, investors, and several ministers, a total of over 1,000 delegates, shows the global investment convening power of the Africa Investment Forum. We gather at a time of heightened geopolitical tensions and conflicts around the world, which have led to greater uncertainties and could weaken global economic growth. Yet, in the midst of the challenges, Africa is growing well and showing resilience. African economies witnessed a real GDP growth of 3.8% in 2022, higher than the world average of 3.5%. Yeah, we still need to do more, but our head is above water. 5 of the 6 pre-pandemic top-performing African countries are projected to be back in the league of the world's 10 fastest growing economies for 2023 and 2024. African economies provide some of the best investment opportunities in the world. I am optimistic about Africa. Now, do not believe me for my optimism. Believe the data. Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion by 2050, when the continent will account for 25% of the global population. The New York Times recently affirmed in a headline, what we already know, that the world is becoming more African. With a youth population of 477 million people between the age of 15 and 25, Africa will be the key for supplying the global labor force. The size of the food and agriculture market in Africa will be worth $1 trillion by 2030. That's in less than 7 years from now. The African Continental Free Trade Area presents a consolidated market size of $3.4 trillion. The future of electric vehicles in the world depends on Africa. The size of the electric vehicles value chain is estimated to increase from the current $7 trillion to $57 trillion by 2050. That future, as well, depends on Africa. That is because Africa accounts for the largest source of the green metals for the development of electric vehicles, including platinum, 70%, cobalt, 52%, manganese, 46%, bauxite, 25%, and graphite, 21%. An assessment by Bloomberg NEF shows that the cost of manufacturing of lithium-ion precursor batteries in Africa is 3 times less than in the United States, China, and Poland, right here in Africa. Africa, Your Excellencies, has the largest sources of renewable energy sources in the world, including hydro and solar. And right here in Morocco, you have the new Ouarzazate, the largest concentrated solar zone in the world. Well done. The African Development Bank and partners are developing a $20 billion desert-to-power project across 11 countries that share the Sahel zone of Africa, which, when completed, will become the largest solar zone in the world. And so, whether it is in oil and gas, minerals and metals, renewable energy, agriculture, or the labor force that will drive global growth, Africa is where to be. As investors, put your money where the future is. The future is in Africa. Investors should see Africa not from what they hear, but from what the facts say. Moody's Analytics did an analysis of default rates on infrastructure financing globally over the past 14 years. And guess what they found? Africa's default rate is the lowest in the world, 2.1%, compared to Europe, well over 10%, and Asia, well over 8%. So Africa is not as risky as you perceive. Believe the facts. S&P Global in February of this year had a screaming headline: African private equity activity surges to a 5-year high in 2022. Private equity and venture capital in Africa soared year over year to $7.7 billion. The number of deals increased from 211 in 2018 to 404 in 2022, an increase of 91%. The total transaction value also expanded from $4.7 roughly billion in 2018 to roughly $8 billion in 2022, an increase of 66%. So invest in Africa and reap high risk-adjusted returns. The Africa Investment Forum is the place where bankable projects in Africa meet with investors, where investors meet with heads of state and governments in investment boardrooms, where comfort is given to investments, where risks are managed, and where deals are closed. There are many international conferences focused on business opportunities in Africa. No gathering, however, has been more strategic and important in terms of its convening power and capacity to galvanize investment action on the continent than the Africa Investment Forum, Africa's premier investment marketplace. What makes the Africa Investment Forum unique and remarkable is that it is highly innovative and 100% transactional. There is no other global investment forum like it. We develop and curate projects, reduce transaction costs and risks, and accelerate the closure of deals. We also improve the overall business environment within which projects and investments are structured, developed, and delivered. Since the launch of the Africa Investment Forum in 2018 in Johannesburg, South Africa, it has drawn more than 16,500 participants and generated investment interest of nearly $143 billion US. At the 2022 Africa Investment Forum Market Days, the Abidjan-Lagos Highway Corridor was able to secure $15.5 billion of investment interest. This corridor would transform the entire West African region and speed up regional integration and trade. And also last year, investment interests were secured for $3.6 billion for the East Africa Railway Corridor, linking Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Burundi. We are delighted that the Africa Investment Forum has so far closed deals, investment gaps worth $11 billion, ranging from liquefied natural gas, renewable energy, agribusiness, industrial manufacturing, creative industry, housing, and transport. It is time, again, for investment action. It is time to do it again. So let's do it again. As we meet over the next 72 hours, I ask that investors take advantage of the boardrooms to be chaired by the Excellencies, heads of state and government. Let's be concrete, let's be bold, and let's be decisive. The boardrooms are well prepared. They showcase investment opportunities across various sectors in Africa. The clock is ticking. The project developers are here. You, the investors, are here. The heads of state and government, our leaders, are here. And the financial institutions are here. So, let the deals begin. Welcome again, and thank you very much.